here is the weird thing. And this is very new, by the way. It's been noticed again by Gantenbrink, but picked up by several people lately. One of them happens to be my brother, who's an architect. He's been studying the pyramid geometrically for many, many years. A few others. One of them is an English researcher called Gary Osborne. Mm-hmm. We're all in contact now. It shows you how things get together. And what Gary Osborne noticed, we should have noticed it before, but he noticed something rather odd. He noticed that the shafts, as mentioned by Gantenbrink, and earlier, by the way, by Flinders Petrie, who investigated those shafts in the 1880s, that they come out on the 133rd course, the pyramid levels, if you like, the courses of the pyramid. Mm-hmm. So if you would climb the pyramid and you would count the courses and you arrive at the 133rd, you would find the opening of the shafts as they emerge from the pyramid. Now, that in itself doesn't mean anything until Osborne noted, again, it shows you how people, we look at things and sometimes we don't see them.
Right.
He noted the angle of the shafts, which we knew very well. The southern shaft is about 45 degrees from the horizontal, pointing to Orion's belt at the time. And the northern shaft is about 32 degrees, pointing to the circumpolar region of the sky. Now, simple mathematics will show you that if you take 45 and 32, you get 77. And if you subtract the 180, which is the full semicircle, if you like, mm-hmm. you get the angle between the two shafts, and that's 103. So I thought, wait a minute, that's pretty odd. I'm getting the 103 twice.
Right.
In the angle, the degrees, as we know them today, based on the 360 circle, well, it looks like they did.
Right.
There's many other things in the pyramid that indicates this. But let me give you another one that was found, and this time by a Jordanian, of all people. All this has been done on Facebook, by the way. It's kind of fun these days because people communicate very fast. He's got himself involved in this research, and he noted, again, it should have been noticed, that the opening of the shafts, so you've got the opening on the south side, the opening on the north side, the distance between them, the line between them, is 121 royal cubits. Now, we know the value of this cubit, and if you convert this into meters, you get 103.
Wow.
So I thought, shit, this is, excuse my French.
No, you're good.
Too many 103s going on in here.
Right.
Now, what it would imply is an invitation by the designer to suggest that they were aware of the 360 degrees system of measuring angles. And as incredible as it may seem, they were aware of the meter length. Now, I know this may sound crazy for listeners to hear this, but there's a lot more in this design that is coming out literally by the day that confirms this. I'll give you one that is very bizarre because that will intrigue most of your listeners, mm-hmm. which has intrigued me, I have to admit, because I'm very resistant to anything that is beyond what I call the context of the time. Now, I'm ready to accept that Egyptians may have known or used the degree system as we use it. That's nothing unusual. We know that the Babylonians did it. We know that the Egyptians, for example, had a 360 number year.
Right.
So, yeah, there's no problem with that. As far as the meter, well, why not? Because, let me tell you something else. The pyramid, as it's been known for over 100 years, has its height, the height of the pyramid, in relation to its base, which is a square, the same as the diameter of a circle. In other words, that the base of the pyramid mathematically represents a circle. Or, if you prefer, that the whole pyramid mathematically represents a hemisphere. Mm-hmm. This was known for a long, long time. So, they seem to be telling us this thing mathematically should be seen as a hemisphere. Well, because it also has very, very precise alignment to the cardinal direction, the astronomical cardinal direction, it implies that they may have known, and this again is a crazy suggestion, but not impossible, they have known the size of the planet. They might have actually known this, because that's the only way you can derive the meter. The meter, it represents, if I'm not mistaken, 1/1,000,000th of a quarter circumference of the planet. That's how it was derived. Mm-hmm. Now, this may sound extraordinary, and I must admit it is extraordinary, but something else comes into play. Something else comes into play is the position of the pyramid. It has mystified people since it's been discovered, I think, in the 18th century, that the pyramid stands very, very close to the parallel, the 30th parallel, the 30 degrees north. Mm-hmm. That's very bizarre, because if they knew the 360 degrees, that's a very specific position. It's not any number.
Right.
However, it's not precisely there. It is, in fact, at 29 degrees, 978 point something degrees, right? So it's at 29 degrees, 0.978, and so forth, fractions.
Sure.
Now, the weird thing is that value, if we move the decimal place, is exactly to about 12 numbers, the speed of light.
Wow.
Now, that to me is nuts.
There's too many things to be, like, too many mathematical anomalies to be viewed as coincidence.
Yeah, that could go on for a long time, because I was out of this. I did not want to hear this. People who know me very well.
Right.
No. To me, the pyramid is a religious monument. It has to do with the rebirth of the king. It has to do with the stars, their star cult, and so forth.